There we are. Now we're live. We're going to be doing show and tell today. And I'll wait a minute till folks who were watching yesterday wanted to come on today live. So we'll just give them a minute to get caught up because here I am. I said I'd be here at 1. I like these glass bottles. We had bought some kombucha, and it comes in these nice glass bottles. And they hold 16 ounces, so I use this for water. I just keep refilling them. I'd rather use that than a plastic bottle. Oh, and there's Jackknife Richard. Hello there. Okay, we're going to head down into our basement where we have our little exercise room set up. My husband's office is down here. Let's see, show you around. Oh, there's an extra refrigerator. That's come in handy. We've got a dehydrator. Oh, there's my juicer. Hope I never need it again, but it's there. And my husband's office, and he's got a walking treadmill. Just the kind you just walk slow while you're working. And then futon for the grandkids to sleep in. And just a little table. We hardly ever use it, but it's there to play games. Oh, we have a game cupboard. Check out the game cupboard. We really like to play games. Yeah, we do. We just don't have anyone to play them with. When our kids are here, we'll sometimes get to play games. Now, for Christmas, I gave my husband all these posters of types of exercises you can do. Here's stuff with resistance bands and kettlebells, dumbbells. I'm looking forward to using these things. Stability ball. I'm not exercising yet because over the course of this last month and now this month, Richard ordered his Rebounder yesterday from Amazon. Oh, good for you. And yeah, that is a lot of games. He goes, that is a lot of games. Yes, it is. And I'm unloading my Rebounder here. We've got those exercise things. What do they call? I forget what they call them, but you like put them around just above your knees, or you can put them around your lower legs, and then you're doing squats and stuff like that. But anyhow, I'm not exercising right now because of the dental work I had done. The dentist actually asked me not to exercise because he said it increases your blood pressure, and you don't want bleeding to be happening in here. And I know I did try just doing some easy stretching last month when I had a tooth out. And I immediately got a headache. Immediately. My body's busy healing right now, replacing bone and healing tissue. And exercise is too much. So here's our Rebounder right there. And it's a Bellicon. You don't have to get a Bellicon. That just happens to be what I got. And I've got the handles on there. I don't need them just for doing gentle bounce, which is what just the health bounce is just. That's it. I'm just gently just going up and down. There's no feet leaving. I'm not doing, my feet still aren't leaving, but I'm not going to do that. It's just meant to be a gentle bounce that helps. The gravity and the pull of doing this helps get your lymphatics flowing, which is really good for your immune system. So there's all these things I need to get going on, and I will as soon as my mouth is healed. And then we have a treadmill. Ta-da! Little treadmill. There's a stability ball. There's the rowing machine that my husband... I'm sorry if I'm making you sick at the angles. Let me straighten this out. There we go. With a seat. I mean, it's not the high-end kind, but it does the job, and that's all that matters. It does the job. So that's your tour of our basement. Isn't that exciting? And I'm not going to show you the workshop or the laundry because those are nasty. So they're not meant for public consumption. And I'll show you how I'm making yogurt. This I don't know. Let me see if I can turn you so you're not looking into the light. Can you see that? This is called a sous vide. SOUSVIDE. And you can set the temperature and you set the time for how long you want it to run. Then in the pot here, what it does is it circulates water at the temperature that you set it, so that what you have in there is sitting in this nice water bath. I have it set for 109 degrees, which actually feels quite warm, but that's the temperature you do regular yogurt at. And it only has to do it for 8 hours. And I'm making a kind of yogurt called Yogurt Plus, and I ordered it through what's that place called? Fermented, Cultured Food Life. That's where I got it from, Cultured Food Life. And you get the starter stuff, and it's very easy, very easy. And then so later today I'll have some fresh yogurt. We have a couple different kinds of yogurt that we make. Oh, that was downstairs. Well, here's another one. Here's Algacerai, also from Cultured Food Life. This one's especially good for women. It's good for everybody, but especially good for women. And we have another one called El Ruderai. Oh, this is the Yogurt Plus. This is the last of it, which is why I had to make some more. You just scoop some out of here, you add it to that, and next thing you know, you got yogurt again. Oh, and we also make kefir. And this, you drink this, and it has grains in it. Not grains from a plant, okay? They're just called grains. They're not really grains. They're actually little colonies of bacteria that happen to look like little crumbles of cauliflower. That's what they look like. They look like and they just had to call them something. So somebody one day called them grains. And the grains, you put them into milk, like a tablespoon of them into the milk, a quart of milk, let it sit in the cupboard for a day, and then you got kefir. Then you strain out the grains and put them in another quart of milk, and the next day you got kefir. And you just keep doing that over and over again. Those grains will last you decades, literally decades, if you just keep feeding them. They just need food every day, and their food is the sugar out of milk. So if somebody's lactose intolerant, they usually tolerate homemade kefir. Now, not necessarily the stuff at the grocery, because the stuff at the grocery isn't the same as real kefir. Just like homemade bread is not the same as the stuff from the grocery. Homemade anything is not the same as the stuff at the grocery. So let's get up here to the office. My hair looks awful, doesn't it? I keep looking at this like, ooh, whatever. So let's see. Richard says, well, I heard of the benefits of the Rebounder from a few different people, but when you mention it, I decided to get one. I've also recently been sick with swollen lymph nodes. Oh, that's perfect. Perfect. Sous vide. Nice. Do you use it to cook chicken? How is it? I've not used it to cook any meat. I only use it for making yogurt. That's all I've used it for. Is there anything else I've used it for? Not that I can think of. Just yogurt. I use it for the different kinds of yogurt. Now, the Yogurt Plus that I have in there now, you put it in a temperature like 109, 110. But the other yogurt, which takes 36 hours to brew, ferment, whatever, that you do at 100 degrees. It's interesting. There's a real difference in temperature in the yogurts and how they come out, but it's because of the kind of bacteria that's in there. So the bacteria is really, it's replacing all the bacteria that we lost when we had antibiotics over the year. And here I am on antibiotics again, 2 months in a row. So because of the infections and the dental stuff. So I'm pounding down the yogurt and I'm drinking kefir. Try to have a serving of each of those yogurts every day. So the Algacerai, El Ruderai, and the Yogurt Plus, because each one is high in a different bacteria. I'm taking a probiotic supplement and I'm drinking the kefir. So I'm doing all those things in it because of doing the antibiotics right now. So, but you know what? I'm thankful for the antibiotics to help kill whatever's going on in there. So it's the way it is. Um, what else? Oh, here's my notebook. Here's my notebook. Oh, wrong notebook. No, it is the right one. Maybe not. I don't know. I brought the wrong notebook up. So I'll tell you. Richard says that's a lot of healthy gut bacteria you're taking in. I sure hope so. I'm trying. Over the years, I've tried all these different things. I did Gerson. I did Goodbye Lupus from Dr. Goldner. I did Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease by Esselstyn. I did very poorly on that one. That one has you eating a lot of grains and beans, and I just didn't do well on all those grains and beans. Everything kept getting worse. I followed Mastering Diabetes, which also included grains and beans. But during that time that I was doing the Mastering Diabetes, the practitioner I was working with somebody online, a plant-based practitioner, ordered for me one of those CGMs, continuous glucose monitors, so I could see what was going on. And I could see that every time I had beans or grains, my blood sugar would go sky high. And that wasn't good. It was like going to 250. And then I'd have to walk and walk and walk and walk to try and get it to come down. And which and it's interesting because my A1C was always decent. It was 5.4. It wasn't wonderful, but it was good. Be nice if it was lower, but still, that's considered okay. But there was a lot of work. It was a lot of work to keep on top of it. And by the end of I did it for a little over a year. By the end of that time, I was exhausted. I didn't feel good. I didn't have any energy. I didn't feel any stronger. I mean, it's interesting. And I was, here I'd been plant based for a number of years at that point, and I started having depression. I started having all sorts of female infections just month after month after month. I just felt weak and tired. I thought, well, I just got to get on top of this. I just got to lose some weight. I just got to, gotta. Um, I went to the gym and I had hired somebody to be a coach for me. And she was just showing me the motions. Wasn't using any equipment yet. Just like, well, you're going to do this and you're going to do that. We kind of went through squatting motions, things like that. And it's like my thighs started to hurt really in a real weird way. I'd never felt that way before. All I could compare it to was, and it's not a feeling, but have you ever had a big piece of Velcro and when you ripped it apart, it's like, that's what my thighs felt like. They felt like burning, like something had shredded inside. I don't know how to explain it other than that. They burned and they felt weak and shaky and almost like low blood sugar, almost. But it wasn't low blood sugar. I went home and checked my blood sugar and it was fine. Actually, I had my CGM. It was fine. My blood sugar wasn't low. So what was going on? And I'm like, and in my mind, I'm thinking, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And then the Lord spoke to me and he said, you need more protein. So I just started packing down the beans. And 24 hours later, they felt worse. They didn't feel any better. And I thought, I think I need more than this. So I started eating fish. And within 12 hours, it was gone. It was like gone. And it's like, wow, that's scary. What was going on with that? And then, but I didn't keep eating fish. I just went back to eating beans and stuff. And the depression was still with me. And then that summer, so this is 2 years ago, that summer, our grandkids came to stay with us when we were camping. We had 2 of our older grandkids, and they brought eggs with them from their chickens. And I was fixing eggs for them for breakfast. And it's like, wow, I just want an egg so bad. I hadn't had an egg in like 8 years. And I thought I'm just gonna eat an egg. In fact, I ended up eating two. It tasted so good. And 2 hours later, the depression lifted. Gone. And it hasn't come back. So I was experiencing depression from lack of whatever. It wasn't just protein. I know there's good things in eggs. There's the good fats and there's choline, and those are all good things for the brain. And I thought, okay, these two events happened within a few months of each other that tell me something's got to change here. I need to get protein back into my diet. So I started researching my options out there. And I just, a lot of things I didn't understand, but I listened to this one doctor and he made it sound very simple. Oh, the problem is visceral fat. And you can get visceral fat in around your organs, and that's what causes you to get heavy in the middle. And it's caused by high carbohydrates. I'm thinking, well, there you go. And it happens more to women when they become postmenopausal, because when you don't have the estrogen, your body handles things differently. And listening to him and his talks, I was under the impression you just had to change your diet to get rid of the visceral fat. And he had people who did do that, and it worked for them. But his diet was strictly carnivore, but including ferments. So you could eat raw cabbage. You could eat not fermented cabbage, raw fermented cabbage. All the different kinds of little ferments you can get at the store. You can ferment your own stuff. If you put it in a salt water bath, and you can put it in a jar and ferment it yourself. And that he believes that you need to add the ferments with the carbohydrates. I'm sorry, the ferments with the meats to help keep your gut biome going well. Whereas everybody else, they're like, nope, just eat your meats, you'll be fine. Oh, shalom, Meseret. Nice to see you. And Richard says, I like your stories. Storyteller here. I try to tell you the truth, though. I try to tell you what I've experienced. So Chris and I both ended up going on a carnivore diet with ferments. And it was really tough. I think it was, the guy that we were seeing, the doctor we were seeing, did not give us, well, the only recommendation he gave us was to go cold turkey. But anything I've heard since then was not that was not the way to do it. And I wish we hadn't done it that way, because it was really hard, really hard. And it takes time for your body to transition over, and for the microbes to transition over, and all that sort of stuff. And stuck with it for a number of months, but I wasn't losing any weight. Now Chris did. He trimmed right down. And I was just getting really frustrated. And then I was just exhausted. It's like my body was not able to switch over into fat burning instead of sugar burning. And so I just laid around exhausted, because it's like I didn't have any fuel. Even though I was eating, I didn't have any fuel, because my body wasn't able to break down the fat for energy. And then I started getting into carbs again, because I needed something. I needed some fuel. And unfortunately, if you're eating a high protein fat diet and you put carbs in, your body's like, yay, we got fuel. And it immediately goes to the sugar burning, and all that calories from that fat just gets stored, because it's not using it, or in my case, at least not trying to use it for fuel. And the carbohydrates tell your body to put it into storage. So I've put on a lot of weight this year, which I'm not happy about. And I have yet to figure out how to get it off, because that's where I was a year and a half ago, was trying to figure out how to get it off. And I think I actually gained more visceral fat. So there's the it's not the truth, it's a fact. Those are facts. Like Curry says, there's a difference between truth and fact. And And that's my facts right now. But facts change, and that's the good news because God says this is I'm not done with you yet. And and so I'm I do I have a hard time going back onto straight protein and fat, but once I get there and I'll stick there for a couple days and then I lose it. I just lose it and I get into something I shouldn't. And then it takes me a whole week to get back straightened out again. I've figured out that maybe I it's not maybe that I seem to have a problem with carbohydrates. And it's interesting because there's a family history of alcoholism and carbohydrate addiction is related to alcoholism. I'm glad I didn't go into alcohol, but I am working on the carbohydrates. Now, here's the good news. This is, intermittent fasting. If Santa's asking me, I did horrible with that. And it just made me an anxious wreck. It made me an anxious wreck. I would do it. I did it consistently. I tried fasting. That was this doctor. He wanted you to do fasting, and I just became a nervous wreck when I was doing it. It did not do well for me. My body already was under enough stress without adding the stress of fasting. And then whenever I stopped fasting, even though I go back to eating normal, I'd put more weight on because it just my metabolism would shut down. And I've experienced that many times over the years where I've tried fasting and it just shuts my metabolism down and I like sleep all day because again, my body seems to have a hard time breaking down fat for energy, whether it's my fat or exogenous fat that I eat. It has a hard time breaking it down. So I'm actually working with a nutritionist right now. Um, she's she works with Tony Hale, Hale. I found him online. He teaches a lot about digestion. And it made a lot of sense because over the years, I've had a lot of issues with my digestion. And following some of the suggestions he was making, it's like it made a lot of sense, but it got really complicated to the point where it's like, okay, I can't do this on my own anymore. I need help. So that's when I signed up to work with one of his counselors. And she's great. I just think she's great. Her name's Katinka. I don't remember her last name. She's actually from Germany, but she lives in Mexico now with her husband. And she's really nice. She's patient. She's considerate. I can email her anytime with anything that's going on. I send her my results each week. She has to do a bunch of simple at home tests. So you take your blood pressure laying down, and then you start the machine up again, and then you stand up quickly, and it takes your blood pressure standing up. And the difference between laying down and standing up tells them something, whatever that difference is. And then you check your pH level with your saliva and your pH level with your urine. That also tells them stuff. There's another dipstick thing that you can do that you test your urine with, and it shows you all sorts of things in there. Shows if there's blood, it shows the pH, it shows sugar, shows protein, leukocytes. I don't remember all the different things that are in there, but it tells her stuff. She looks at it and she's like, okay, maybe you should be doing more of this and less of that. And and it's not just always food. Like she's giving me some breathing exercises because there are things that help relax you. There's stuff that helps aid your digestion. I can give it to you. So there's one. I keep a little note right by my sink. It says breathe, and it's good because I see it often working in the kitchen. And so you breathe in, and you breathe deep down through your diaphragm. Okay, breathe deep, push your stomach out, breathe out, or breathe in, and then let it out slowly through your mouth. There. So it's a long, slow release. Big inhale and a long, slow release from your mouth. And that tells your body that you're okay and you're safe. So it helps reduce a lot of that tension that some people carry around with them. And I've been guilty of that, of carrying around a lot of tension, which is why the fasting wasn't working for me, the stress. And then the other exercise, you said you do it right after you're done eating, and it's just kind of helps get your digestive tract working. And so when you breathe in, you suck your stomach in, and when you breathe out, you push your stomach out. You do that like 3 or 4 times. There. And that just signals your digestive tract it's time to get working. So those are pretty simple things to do. And she's given me a few supplements to take. I take hydrochloric acid with my meals, and that helps my body to break down protein. Um, Something called omnizyme, which just has digestive enzymes in it that like your pancreas would put out. And then what's the third thing? Omnizyme. Oh, electrolyte excess is supposed to help with blood pressure because my blood tends to be a little on the thick side, so this is something supposed to help with that. And then I just take there's other supplements I take because I want to take them. I take vitamin D and K2 because I want to keep my vitamin D levels at a certain level. I need to keep them at 60 or above. Between 60 and 80 is ideal. If they go below 60, I start to get sinus drainage for no reason. And that's why, and my sleep isn't as good. My sleep is better if it's between 60 and 80. Excuse me. And then those are the 2 supplements. I take something called DIM, DIM, and it's short for a really long name. And that helps your body to get rid of dangerous estrogens. Just it helps get rid of those dangerous estrogens that we don't want. And then CoQ10 and PQQ. I take both of those because I drink Fiji water. Fiji, Fiji water. You can get it at the grocery. It's kind of pricey, but I make my own. I follow a recipe that I have in a book. Do I have the books here? I don't. Tell you what, we'll do that tomorrow. I'll show you my books tomorrow that I have for the Fiji water. For silica, it's silica in the water, and he recommends those 2 supplements to go with your Fiji water because the Fiji water will help take aluminum out of your brain and tissues, and the CoQ10 and PQQ help rebuild good brain cells, which is good. We want that. And then I take those other ones I told you from her, and that's it. But it seems like a lot, and I don't like taking them, so I struggle with that. Let's see. Josanna says, my daughter was borderline diabetic type 2. She started with intermittent fasting, then the keto diet. She lost 100 pounds and recovered from diabetes. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm so glad she did that. I think it makes a big difference how old you are. I started having trouble around 2000. That was 24 years ago. I was 40. That's when I started having trouble. And having trouble I just couldn't figure and I knew how to maintain my weight and I knew how to lose weight. I'd done that. But all of a sudden, everything I'd ever done never stopped working. It was very strange. I actually think it had a lot to do with being on medication. When we moved into our house, we had moved from the Syracuse area to the southern tier of New York State, down near Elmira, Binghamton area. And we had stayed in an apartment for a few months until we could find a house. We had our kids with us. And the day we moved into our house, what they call it, I don't know, the housing around the motor cracked, and it was winter. It was December. It was cold. And so the door was open and the furnace kept running and running and running, and it overheated and this housing cracked, and it was an oil furnace, and it started spewing carbon monoxide into the house. I got very sick. It didn't affect anyone else right away, but it affected me right away because I was more sensitive. But we didn't know what it was. We didn't know what it was. I just had this horrible headache and I started having anxiety attacks. And I was like literally crying, walking around crying, weeping, and wringing my hands. It was awful, 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 awful. And we had already gone through several years of me having had health problems and being like allergic to the house. And my husband had like gutted our old house and redone it in order to make it safe for me and healthy. And we just wanted to get away from there. We wanted to go someplace where we could get fresh water, well water, and get away from the town and get away from the pollutants and all this stuff. And then to go in and get sick the first day at that house. And we didn't know what it was. And I just knew it was something to do with the furnace. I couldn't tell. I just knew it was something to do with the furnace because I could smell a smell. Now, carbon monoxide doesn't have an odor, but I could smell the combustion from the furnace. And we'd had it inspected the month before, and that everything was fine. So we were pretty sure it cracked the day we moved in because it kept running and running and running. And so it took a little bit for us to figure out I just needed to leave the house. So I had to go live with my parents a couple hours away. I went and lived, and then I stayed with my dad, and my mother came and helped take care of the kids in the house while I was staying with my dad until we could figure out what was going on. It was very hard time in our lives, and hard for Chris, hard for me, hard for the boys, and it brought our faith to a real crisis as well. Um, Chris was angry with God at that point because he felt like he was a good person and he didn't deserve this. And why did God do this? So those are a lot of questions and fist raising at God on his part. And I just was lost because I didn't have any friends. We were in a new place. It's interesting how many times we've moved and it's been difficult because you just don't know anybody. And yeah, I'm trying to think what to tell you about that. It took a few months to figure out what happened. In the meanwhile, thank goodness the boys went to school and Chris went to work. Otherwise, they would have been exposed to it even more than they were. They were exposed to it. A couple of the boys have, to this day, have had some issues. And one of them has tinnitus or tinnitus. The ringing in his ear is started at that time and it's never left. And one of the other boys ended up having anxiety, which he still struggles with. And the third boy seems to be okay. If something got damaged, we don't know it. But at that time, he seemed to be okay. But as a result of that, for me, when we got the house fixed up and I came back, it took a while for me to work through the physical part of it. And I had a headache every day for a year. And the doctor finally put me on something for high blood pressure, which helped the headaches, but I immediately put weight on. And I told him, I said, I think this medication is causing me to gain weight. Well, no, it's not. You're eating because it's Christmas or, whatever it was. And it's like, I wasn't. I was actually dieting and trying to lose the weight and it wouldn't come off. And I know it's the medication. And I ended up being on that medication for a long time. See if that was 2000. No, that was before that was in 1996. I just went off that medication like 3 years ago, when I was doing Mastering Diabetes. I was so frustrated. And I just went off both of the blood pressure meds I was on, cold turkey. And in a week's time, I lost 15 pounds. So don't tell me it's not the medication. But I couldn't stay off it forever. And I've gained weight, like I said, from eating carbs while doing carnivore. And who knows what else. Could be the medication again, too. But I just haven't been able to figure out how to get it off. So when I get it figured out, I'll share it with you because I'm sure I'll make $1 million, right? I'm not the only person trying to figure out. Jackknife says we're getting a lot of good info today. Thanks, Susan. I feel like I'm being depressing. I'm sorry if I'm being depressing. And Josanna says, I'm really sorry to hear this, Sue. Yeah, it's just, we all have a different, it's not the walk that God necessarily wanted for us, but this is the enemy. And this is one of the things I'm learning and needing to apply to myself, that this is the enemy throwing bricks under our tires, okay? He's throwing bricks in front of the car to throw us off path. And this is where I am having to learn how to walk out my faith through things that I'm not necessarily happy about, even in my own body or in my life. And one of the nice things that's happened in the last week was, and I mentioned to you guys last week. Now, what day is today? Today's Wednesday. So tonight is the class. Tonight is the Wholeness in Christ. And Yosana, you said you were going to sign up for that. Did you get signed up for that? The Wholeness in Christ. It's at the Christian Healing Institute.org website. Anybody can join. Doesn't matter where you live. Even if you're in Saskatchewan, you can go. And starts at 7 for me. So, Richard, it would start at 6 for you. I highly recommend it. You can join it at any time. And it's great. And we just do these, they do a lesson, and then we do a little prayer exercise. And the Lord showed me a couple weeks ago that I needed to do that with him myself on a regular basis. So I have started going to my rocker in my bedroom and sitting there quietly, talking to the Lord, and then letting him show me things. And then what we're doing is he's going back with me in places in my life. It's interesting. He's saying this was a joy to him, and it wasn't to me. And I ask him, why was it a joy? And then he tells me why. So he gives me a different perspective on the situation, and he helps me to get rid of the fear or resentment or unforgiveness or something I was holding in that moment, so that I can be healed. And so he's spending time with me to do personal healing that I need, so that I can walk in freedom, because he wants us to be free. So that's how he's helping me do it. Oh, and you did sign up. I'll see you tonight. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And then there's Calm Vibe. She said, we will persevere. That's right. We will persevere. And I have to tell you, me talking with you guys, really, it helps me. I hope it's helping you, but I know it's helping me. And for us to kind of share our thoughts and to be on task. And I've got a cat that's scratching at the door. Hang on a second. She's out here crying. She'll want out in just a minute. What do you want? Come on. You goose. You goose. She loves going into the garage to hunt for mice, but she only wants to go out at night. And what she doesn't realize is that it's daylight during the day. So when she goes and wants to go out in the garage and it's daytime, she goes to the door and she'll just turn around. Come on, get out of the way, goober. Come on. Come on. She knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing. Come on. Get your rump out of there. There you go. Oh, you know what's funny? I looked over while I was talking. This was a whole eraser a week ago. Somebody's been up here on my desk chewing my pencils and my erasers. Goober. Katie, you're a goober. She really is. So, here, why don't you lay down? There you go. There you go. So, good. Well, good, Josanna. I hope to see you tonight. There's a lot of people. There's like 75, so we may or may not actually see each other. But I'm glad you're going to be there. I think you'll really like it, and I hope the rest of you will sign up too. I think you'll really, it's a real blessing. It is, and they're teaching you good ways to. They teach you to listen to the Lord and to help Him to bring you healing. He teaches you how to listen so that He can minister healing to us. So I'm all for that. Hey, she's actually purring. She's actually letting me there. Hey, Seta, how you doing? Nice to see you. You always find me just when I'm going to get off. There. This is unusual. She doesn't usually let me pet her. So, all right. Well, I'm going to scoot, and we'll plan on seeing it. No, tomorrow's Thursday. I'm gone from home in the morning. I don't get home until the afternoon. What's a good time for tomorrow? I'm trying to think if I have anything going on tomorrow night. Does anyone want to toss out a time? Richard says, I don't see anything to join or sign up on that website. Oh, really? Oh, and Count 5 said, how can we pray for you? Thank you so much. That I would listen to the Lord and he would give me wisdom. That's key. I need to listen. I need his wisdom. And then I can act on it. All right? I appreciate that. Thank you. Richard, let me look on that website while we're here, because I think I can do that while we're here. Come on, Katie, move just a little bit. ChristianHealingInstitute.org. Okay. Institute. I have to spell it right. Institute.org. I must have done something wrong. Oh, come on. It says I can't reach it. Let me try it again. There we go. No, I don't want. Oh, it was taking me to their Zoom. I don't want the Zoom. Okay, hang in there if you don't mind. I'm checking this for Richards or people who want Christian Healing Institute.org. Okay, it's open. Okay, if you're on the main page, you just open it up and it says Christian Healing Institute. There's a photograph of a lady with pretty golden red hair. If you scroll down and you keep scrolling down, you're going to go past engage and past resources. And then it says join us at an upcoming event. It's the Wholeness in Christ class, but that's actually what you're signing up for, even though it's September, because this is the continuation of it. And that's what you're going to click on. It says September, but you click on it anyway because it continues through April. And you click on that. You don't have to have the book. They really don't use it very much. You can get it if you want, but you don't have to. And then you just fill out the little class registration. It asks for your address, your phone number, what church you attend. You're not going to share the Zoom code. So that's why I can't give them to you. They want everyone to sign up individually. You don't share the materials, and you don't record any of the classes because that's their materials. So that's it. You just sign up. And then if you can do that today, they'll send you an invitation to come to class tonight. And if you come at 10 of 7, then they usually ask people to share testimonies. And so during that 10-minute time, you can hear somebody's testimony of healing that they've gotten from attending the class. Oh, and so, no, it is .org. Josanna was wondering if it was .org or .com. No, it's .org, and it's there. And Jack Knife found it, so he's going to get signed up. Calm Vibes, I hope you sign up. Who else is here? And Seta, I hope you can sign up. And Meseret, I hope you can sign up. Wouldn't that be fun? We could actually see, well, you see me. I'd like to see you. We could actually see each other. So that'd be fun. All right, well, good enough. I'm going to scoot. Oh, we're going to pick a time for tomorrow. You want to stick with the same time? I think I can be here at 1 o'clock tomorrow. I don't think I have anything going on at 1 o'clock. So I'll be here at 1 o'clock. For those of you who live in Timbuktu, it's going to be 12. Okay? All right. Let's see, anyone else saying okay for you? Okay, good enough. We'll see you later then. Have a good day. God bless you. Bye-bye.